So we're just going to basically rush through some of the things that we looked at for the introduction to DaVinci Resolve. Let me load
Okay.
up the application.
I'm here with you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just waiting for it to load. So we're going to cover like some of the things that we did previously. We're just going to breeze through them for the interface. Then we'll jump right into the timeline. In the class we said the way we are going to take this class is we are going to take it in relation to how we are going to edit in DaVinci Resolve. So when we started the last class we had, we talked about how that if you look at the top left corner, you see DaVinci Resolve, you see the icon, what it does, the file, what some of all these things does. We talked about that anytime you see bin, it's referring to a folder. So when you see a
Yep.
bin, a new bin, we're talking about a folder. A new smart bin is a smart folder,
Oh,
right? So we talked about a couple of things, right? Some of all these things you may not be using them right off the bat, right? But you will definitely save a project. Control S shortcut for that. Then we talked about some things on the edit page. We didn't go towards the trim. The reason why we didn't go towards the trim because majority of the things we'll be seeing here, we can do here on the
yeah.
timeline, right? So we talked
That's
about the media pool, how that the media pool has a space called master where you arrange all your files. So the media pool is just as the name implies, it holds all the media files, your sound effects, your video files, your lower thirds, your images, text, everything you're going to use to work for a particular project. You'd see them appear on the media pool.
media.
So in the media pool you can create beans. So I showed you how where we create beans. You just right click, go to new bean. I said it's better you keep your files organized, create a bean for your footage, create a bean for your sound effects, create a bean for different things which you're going to use to work on that project, because your timeline can really get messy, your entire workspace can get messy, and you want to keep it organized so you'll be able to track things. Now after the media pool, there's another thing you see. You're going to see effects. So basically the the effects tab is just going to show you like a different default effect that DaVinci Resolve has. Then if you install any plugin, any other effects, you would see them loaded up here. So we have the video transitions. You see what they do. You can just click additive dissolve, blur dissolve, cross dissolve, deep to dissolve. All these ones we are going, when we start editing, when we start working, we're going to just test out what these things do. But in your own free time, when we've talked about how to just drag a clip on the timeline, you can practice drag a clip on the timeline. Transitions. What transitions are is you can call them an effect, right? That creates a smooth movement from one clip to the other, right? So that's what we mean by transitions. So we have
Yeah.
video transitions, we have audio transitions. You see it by the left. So audio transitions is maybe crossfade, when you're trying to like crossfade from one audio to the next, right? So here we have like titles. These titles are like lower thirds, all right? Sample text, so you can load them up for your project. You don't need to create them from scratch.
You
So they
don't
are,
have to build them from scratch.
yeah, so there are some sample text. DaVinci Resolve have like some good text. Then one of the ones that we'll be using often is the text plus. So we'll be using the text plus a lot. So we have fusion titles, background reveal, background lower text. I'm going to show you how to utilize some of all these things
When did you bring up all of this?
on the titles. So we are on effect page. We're on the effect tab now. We click on the
Okay.
effect tab. You see titles. You see all of them listed. But the way it will be listed on yours will be different, right? Might be different, but it's just the same thing.
Okay, because all of them are listed. Mine is listed on top.
Yeah. So it's still the same thing. It's because of the layout I was using to
Okay, I think I'm
work
using
previously.
horizontal layout. Let me
Okay.
move it to vertical layout and see.
Okay.
Uh, Repo. Ah, layout. Let me find out. Project settings. Show down.
Yeah, but
Mine
it's
shows up.
it's not a challenge, right? That's not actually a challenge at all. Let me see if I open up a new project. If it will be, it will come back to if the listing will change. I don't think
And I
if,
noticed that mine has like two screens instead of just one.
yes. So to fix that, to fix the two screens showing, you come to playback. Is it playback or workspace? Come to workspace, then click on single viewer mode. Just locate workspace on the options on your left.
In its single viewer mode.
Yeah, click on it.
Okay. Sending now. Although the file I uploaded, the both files I uploaded, they were both horizontal files. That's why.
Okay. I'm no challenge.
Uh-huh.
Let me just go back to that empty project, then we continue. Okay, so we have titles, we have generators. Generators are like backgrounds that you'll be able to generate, right, on your project. Okay, we have a couple of them. Then we have like the effects. So we have adjustment clip. We are going to use adjustment clip a lot, right? So what is an adjustment clip? Adjustment clip is like a layer, like there are two types of, there are two ways you can edit. From my time as a designer, there's something called what's that word now? What's this word now? I think it's constructive or deconstructive, right? So the constructive way of editing, that first way, is that anything you're doing, you're applying straight to the footage. So any effect we're doing for color grading, it comes directly to this footage, right? Let's say we want to apply this effect, we want to apply it here, it's embedded on this footage, right? We can adjust it, but it's just on the footage. Okay, so if we have a couple of videos on our timeline stacked together, the effect is just going to be seen on this footage only, right? But we now use an adjustment clip. If I come here and I drag the adjustment clip, right, I'll bring it above my image. Then let's say I stretch it out. Once I stretch it out, so this adjustment clip, and if I'm going to do anything, I will do it on the adjustment clip. When I'm color grading, I color grade on an adjustment clip, right? So that this now I can easily duplicate everything I have done here and translate it to another video, another layer.
Okay.
You understand? So we'll talk about adjustment clips later as we proceed in the course. So we have Resolve FX. So these are other kind of effects too that you can put. You can just drag them and see what it does to your footage, right? So yeah, you can just drag them and see what it does on your footage. You get to some of these you may not use, some of them you may use, right? As we proceed, you will understand what some of these softwares do, right? So we have filters. Okay, this is still like same effect. We have audio filters, right? We have the Fairlight effect to remove noise remover, echo, distortion, delay, different effects that you can do, but this is just for your audio, right? So you can edit your audio directly on the edit page, or you can go to the Fairlight page and carry out professional level of audio editing. You understand? So we have a VTS effect. VTS effect is when you install plugins. I have my plugins here. That's why you can see Amplitude 5 and Soundly Place It. All right, so we will not look at that. Then if you go down below, you see favorites, you see toolbox. So there are some things I keep on my toolbox. There are some things I keep on Resolve FX. Now, I don't need these things.
In the VFS is where your plugins are.
Yeah, my plugins for audio, right?
Okay.
VST, my plugins for my audio.
So
Now,
until you install plugins, it would not show here.
yes, it will not show
Show on
here.
mine.
Yes, it won't show here.
Mine does not even show that VTS. So
the reason why it's not showing is because of you've not installed the plugin.
Okay, so once the plugin is installed, it automatically
it pops up.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look below, you see favorite. Now that favorite is the ones that you have ticked. If you go to any effect, right, you see a star on the right. So that's how you add things to your favorite. You see like a star icon.
Okay.
The moment you click it, you've selected that as your favorite. Now, DaVinci Resolve has a shortcut that makes things very easy. The moment you use shift and spacebar, I don't know if it's the latest update you're running, right? But if you do shift and spacebar, a search bar is going to pop up, right? Shift and spacebar. If it doesn't pop up, that means
Yes, it does. It pops up.
it pops up. Okay, awesome. So here now we can search for anything. If I'm looking for adjustment clip, I will just type adjustment clip. It's here. I double click on it. It gives me adjustment clip here. So I don't need to start looking for, oh, let me go to effect. Let me look for this. Let me look for that. You just shift spacebar. You type what you're looking for. You drag it and put it back. Put it down on your timeline, and you're good to go. All right. So that's all for the effect. This index, I've never used index before. You don't need the index, right? Sound library is DaVinci Resolve's sound library. You may or may not need it because some of their sounds is actually whack. So I have a premium sound library that I'm going to also give you access. It's free. You can download some of them so that in case you need those premium sounds. Then keyframe, you may not need this keyframe here because we actually have a keyframe button here. So I'm going to show you when we move into the course, you understand what keyframe is and what you use the keyframe for. So the next thing we're going to move to is this side of things. So what are these things you're seeing here? Right now, this thing is called a jog wheel, right? Jog wheels are used, jog wheel. So it is used to move through your timeline, through your footage. Once you click it and drag it, you move through your timeline back and front, back and forth. So that's what a jog wheel does. So we now have skip, right? So we skip to the back or we skip forward, right? So this part, these options we're seeing here is to preview our videos on the viewfinder. Okay, so whatever is here, these functions, all right, apply to this part. It doesn't affect our timeline. Okay, so this is to play back, to play backwards. This is to stop. This is to play forward. And this is to loop it, to put it in repeat, to loop it. So that's what those things does. Then now let's come below because we are going to use some of these things here. Now, one of the things that you'll be doing a lot in your, now this red thing I'm pulling, see this red thing I'm pulling?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
A jog wheel.
yes, so you can call this your what's the name now? My head is spinning. You can also call this your this thing finder, right? But there's a particular name for it that is just left my head right now. So using this, you move across your footage, right, in the timeline to see where to cut, where to make an adjustment, where to add a clip, and all of that. Okay. Now, the first tool here is your selection tool. The shortcut for it is A. So that's what we are on now. This mouse, this thing is called a selection tool, so we can select. The ways to select a clip is either you click on the clip or you click and drag. You right click. Is it right click or left click? You left click and drag, right? So when you click and drag, you've selected this thing. Let me cut this to have like multiple footage. So once I select and drag, you see a red highlight showing you that you've selected both clips. All right. So that's how you select. Then this particular trim edit mode, the shortcut is T. Okay. You don't need this trim edit mode. The reason why you don't need it is because even if you're on selection mode, if you come close to your clip, at the edge of your clip, it will change to that trim edit mode. All right. Now, if you pay attention to the trim edit mode, they have two icons. Now, this first icon, when you use it to trim the footage, you trim backwards, or you come to this side to trim, forward and all of that. Now, you can use the other one to like restore a footage like this from where you've cut it off. Okay, so that's just what that particular tool does. This is what this tool here does, trim edit mode. But normally if you just come here, the the mouse will just change to that trim edit mode if you come close to a clip. Now the next thing is your blade. So the shortcut is B. So what do we use the blade for? The blade tool is used to make quick cuts. So you see a red line inside your footage. When you click on it, it will make cuts, quick cuts. So you use this to make quick cuts, right? Very handy tool. Let's go back to the A. Now there's another way to cut too. A shortcut to cut is Control B. So let's say I drag my I don't know why this thing has left my head. But when you drag this, you do Control B, you're able to cut a footage. You drag it, Control B, you're able to cut a footage. So that's how we cut footages. It still applies, the same thing applies for anything that you drag on the timeline. You're able to cut it that way with Control B. Okay. Then we have this tool called Insert Clip. Now this Insert Clip function, let's say I have other clips here. I have other footages inside my footage folder, and I want to, instead of me to click and drag it, I can just go select the place where I want the clip to enter, click on the new clip I want to add, and just do Insert Clip, and it will add it inside.
Come again.
So let's say when you're editing, you have multiple clips, you have multiple footage to work with.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say I want to add a footage here. So instead of me to click and drag the new footage and start trying to adjust it, I will just bring my playhead. Yes, that's the word. I'll just bring my playhead. That's what it's called. I'll bring my playhead here and click on this tool, Insert Clip. The shortcut is F9, and it will bring the clip right inside here. But I have to make sure I select the right clip here. If not, the clip that is highlighted here will be what to enter.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so the next thing is to overwrite clip. So overwrite clip is just to that clip that was selected before, or anything that is selected here, you just click on it, it will override. The selected clip will just appear here. So it's just almost the same thing as Insert Clip. Then we have the next one is Replace Clip. Let's say, oh, I brought in the wrong clip. I can just come select this clip here that I want, and I do click on Replace Clip, and it will add it there for me. But what it does is it will add it from the playhead. Wherever the playhead is starting from, that's where it's going to add. So you have to make sure you look at the playhead, right? So if it's here and I say Replace Clip, I say Replace Clip like this, it has replaced it.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's take out all the videos here and let's bring back just one. Now, you want to ask, okay, how do I zoom in and out in my timeline? To zoom in and out of your timeline to see what you're doing is to hold Alt and your scroll wheel. You push your scroll wheel up while holding Alt, and you push it down while holding Alt to zoom in and out of your timeline. Just give me a second.
Okay.
Let me get this my mouse distance so that those things I'm pressing will be displayed on the screen. Right, okay. So I hold Alt, I'm holding Alt, and I scroll, it zooms in and it zooms out. You're going to do this a lot. Now you can move the different panels, right? Let's say I want more space to be seen here. I can just move my mouse. I'm going to see this option, this icon, then I drag it up so I can have more space here. Okay.
How did you do that?
When you move your mouse to this breaker point here.
Yes.
So you can click drag it to increase it, click drag it to reduce it. because sometimes when we're working on projects, we have so many files we want to be able to
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can do the same thing here. Click and drag. I don't know why it's not moving, but we can, okay, see here like this, you can click and drag it. I think, okay, I've seen why it wasn't working. Yeah, so now it's working. Okay,
Okay.
so I think I have to make an adjustment. Yeah, but all good. All right.
So why is the inspect at the end of your own, like at the end of the right hand side?
You said,
There's not inspect. There's an inspect button at the end of your right hand side.
okay, now this inspector, right?
Yes.
Now, when you have a footage on the edit page, make sure you are on the edit page, right?
Yes.
The edit page is the third page. Remember, we talked about the media page. Media page is where you organize your media. We talked about the cut page where you cut all this page, but all these things are not necessary because you can do all of them in the edit page. So we are skipping those two parts, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you have a footage, when you've dragged the footage on your timeline, okay, when you drag the footage on your timeline, you would see some features here, okay? You see some features here. We are going to look at that part also. We are going to cover that part. So after we finish that part, we can now say, okay, this is enough, right? You need to now go back and probably practice, okay? So now let's just finish some of all these things that are here. The next thing we have
Okay.
is this thing called snapping. What does snapping do? Now, when you're dragging, when you're dragging when you're dragging your footage, when you're dragging your media on your timeline, when you come close to another media, it will just snap into place. You need to now
Yeah.
push it for you to, let's say you want to cut inside, you need to push it some more, right? But if you leave the snapping function on, it will just snap. Now, the
Yeah.
downside of leaving the snapping on is that, let's say you want to move, you see this is your playhead now, you want to select a particular place. Since the snapping is on, it is going to skip some frames because it snaps frame by frame. You understand?
Okay.
So when we turn this off now, you now notice that this thing is very smooth. Like, it's not snapping, it's not hooking at the other media anymore. And if you check
Yeah.
your playhead is moving very, very smooth, right? But sometimes you want to leave it on, sometimes you want to leave it off, right? So let's bring it back on. Now, the next thing is link. You see this chain link selection. What does it do? If you pay attention to our media on our timeline, we have the video side and we have the audio side, and the two of them are linked. Why? Because this media came directly from our camera, and our camera has what? The audio and the video. So these files
Yeah.
now are linked together. So let's say you
Yeah.
just want only the audio on this file, you don't want the video, or you want only the video, you don't want the audio. What you can do is you can just click on this link, right, and it will unlink it. So you can now go ahead and press either spacebar or delete, whatever the case
Okay.
may
So
be.
those movies that we used to watch, that sometimes the character will finish talking before the word will come.
They did
Maybe they
not,
unlink the audio.
yeah, and they did not adjust it properly. That's one. Yeah, that's one. So and another time instance where things like that happen is where probably they record audio separately, right? So they now bring the audio separately into this, and they did not match it accurately.
Properly.
DaVinci Resolve has a wonderful AI for that, where you can just select your audio, select your video, right? But your video must have audio, right? Must have like
Okay.
an audio. Then you can bring your good audio. You select both of them. You right click. When you select both of them, you right click. You now see sync. Why is our sync not showing? Okay, maybe because of we don't have anything to sync.
That extra audio to sync.
Yeah. So you're going to see a sync feature here. Then it will ask you to sync either by waveform, right, or by spectrum. Is it waveform? Yeah. So what we want to do is waveform. Okay, it's waveform because of its audio. Immediately do it, it's just going to automatically sync your this thing together, and the when the mouth is moving, it's going to be accurate with the audio you're hearing, the speech you're hearing. So that's what linking does. Now, another way to do this is just to hold your alt. All right. Another way to do, like, maybe I just want to select either my audio or my video. Hold alt and click on the part that you want. You can now quickly delete it. Let me repeat. So instead of,
Do you know I do not? This is my Mac keyboard. Now I'm seeing that this keyboard does not have auto.
I think what does Mac have is command and what save.
Command. There's Windows. There's command. What? Let's come. Let me see something. Jesus Christ of Nazareth.
We have command and option, and your option is the alt button, and your command.
Yeah. So just go with your alt. I'll be able to find out.
Okay. All right. So if you click and hold alt, and you click on a particular file, either the audio or the video, you're able to select just that part. When you press backspace or delete, you can get rid of that that file, that particular either audio or video. The same thing, you can click on it and you can move it, right? Just the way we have, without clicking this link selection and that, you'll be able to select either the audio side or the video side. So the next thing is lock. So when you click this position lock, nothing is moving. All right, nothing is moving out of place. So you've locked everything in their position. That's what the position lock does. Now we have flags and we have markers. Now flags and markers do a lot, right? They can remind you, maybe you're working on a very long project. Now if you use flags, let's say you click outside and you use a flag, you may not be able to see it. So flags work in a footage, right? Flags work only inside a footage. So if we click on a file now, click on a video file, let's take our playhead there, then we click on flags, you're going to see a blue, like, you're going to see a blue flag. Now when you double click on that, you can now decide to add a note here, maybe to remind yourself what you're supposed to do here with the footage. You understand? You can add a quick note, you can customize the color, you can say, okay, anytime you see red, just know, do not delete. You can say, okay, do not delete. So click done. So let's say you're working on this project with someone else, you now send him the file. When he comes over to this point and he clicks on the flag, he's going to see the information, do not delete, and you're good to go.
So how do you set up the text for the flag?
Text, you just type it.
Like, how do you set it up? Like, where you click on the flag and then automatically brings up the...
Yeah, just double click on the flag and you'll be able to see where you write your notes.
Oh, okay. So now those notes, you can give them with different colors and say,
Yes.
okay, this is what's here.
Yes. Now,
okay.
We now have markers. Markers work in two ways. You can use your marker inside the footage or above the footage where we have our scale for our time. You understand? So let's say I want to cut some specific regions. Once I move my playhead here and I click on my marker, you're going to see that marker here. So you can now still double click on your marker to write a note what you want to do here. You're going to see the timestamp, you're going to see the duration. You understand? You can now write, oh, this is the note and this is the keyword. So you will see it here to just remind yourself, okay, what you want to do. Then in the footage too, you can also mark points in the footage. You understand? Mark different points in the footage to like leave some information. You can put color codes so you can change the colors. You can change the colors however you want. You understand? It's just like general housekeeping, like keep your thoughts in order. Yeah, so you can click on them and just press your delete to delete them from the footage. Right, so that's what it does. This particular tool is full extent zoom. Let's say you've zoomed in and you don't want to be scrolling out. Just press this button and it will just automatically zoom out. Then you press this one, it will zoom in, like to zoom so in, right? Then you can do custom zooming. You can click on it and just click on it down and it will do your custom zooming. Or you use the plus and the minus, you drag it here to zoom out and zoom in, zoom out or zoom in. So that's what these things they do. Now if you look at this part, right, you look at this part, what is this? So this is our media in, right? We have our in and out. So what is your in and out? The in and out is your entire timeline. Let's say for instance I do a 4-minute edit, I have another section, I want to export just that section. I can use this my in and out. Now I can, the shortcut is I. Once I click I, I've put my in. Once I come to the end of this video and I put O, I've put my out. So the video will only play from here to here, right? And when I export it, will only export this footage. If I have another footage outside here, it's not going to touch this footage. You understand? It's not going to touch this footage at all. So that's our in and out here. We have it here. So if you want to drag a custom, when you drag this point here like this, that's our in. Then the end here is our out. Okay, yeah. So the next thing you're going to see this icon. Now this icon is called a transform icon. So what it does is, if you right click on it, you will see transform, crop, dynamic zoom, open effects overlay, fusion overlay, annotations, immersive, smart reframe. There are some of these things you will not use at all, but you are going to use the smart transform a lot. The smart transform enables you to move this footage now on the timeline like this, to move it now on the view. Now whatever you're doing here will affect the overall video when you export. Okay, so you have to make sure that it is locked, it stays locked. Okay,
inside of the frame.
Yes, you have to make sure that it stays locked. Let's just leave it. So we are going to deselect it. So now I can't move it anymore. So when we progress, I'm going to show you what some of all these things do. The ones that we are not going to use, we are just going to skip them, especially the fusion overlay, the annotations, the immersive, and the smart reframe. We may not use those ones. All right, so let's progress. Now, if you look at your left, we have what they call timeline. This is timeline settings. So you can change the displays. It is going to be stacked. Now, stacked is when you want to work with multiple timelines. Okay, for you don't need it. You don't need to display stacked timeline. So just leave it as it is, like this. All right, everything should just be the way it is. Then on the right, you see keyframe. Now the keyframe option is going to appear below. When you click on it, it's going to appear below on the clip. We will go into details of what the keyframe parameters, what it does, and how to use it when we've started editing proper. Then here we have our recording, where we can record our voice. So you come into you're going to see a mic icon close to the keyframe.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Once you click on it, you will see the voice recorder. So you can choose your input. You look for your microphone. Let's go to microphone. Yes, so you're going to see that, oh yes, it's reading the signal. You're going to choose track, let's say audio 1. So once we come over here and we press on record, it's going to count down from 3 to 1. Then we start recording. All right, so right now it's capturing our voice. Now, if you notice, it's not working. Why is it not working? It's because we put an in and out section. So if we remove the in and out section and we do what we just did again to record, we are going to see our audio. So now if you notice, you're going to see the audio right here. So when you stop it, this is the audio.
My own came down instead of coming in front.
That's because you did not choose the track. So I'm going to show you what tracks are. Now, for tracks, we have the video track and we have the audio track. You see this division line? See this part that divides?
Yeah.
Yes. So upwards is the video track, downwards is the audio track. Now, you can stack a lot of audios. So let me just duplicate audios. So when you look at now, we now have video 1, all right? We have video 3. So these video 1, video 2, video 3 are called tracks. So we have on the video side, we have track 1, track 2, and track 3. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, the same thing.
On the video side, we have track 1 and track 2.
Yeah.
Audio 1, 2, 3.
Yes. So for the audio and the video, it depends on how many media you have and which track the media is. Okay. So you can have multiple tracks. You can have multiple tracks, and you can just say you right click on this part and you said you see delete empty track. So any track that is not utilized, you can just delete it to clean it up. Okay, let's delete this one and do the same thing here. Delete empty tracks. Do the same thing. Delete empty tracks. So that is what tracks are. Then if we come to this point, you're going to see V1. Okay, V1 means video 1. So if on this track now, we can have 1, we can have 2, right? But it's still the same clip. You understand? It's still the same clip. So let's say we do like this. We have track 1. Let's look for another footage. Master. Okay, let's look for this one.
How did you add it to track 1 again?
The first, once you drag it here, that's the track 1 video, the video 1. Video 1 is track 1.
The video 1.
Yes.
So you had 2 videos there. This is just one video now.
This is one video now, right? Okay, so if I drag this one and I place on the timeline, it's going to show another color. You're going to see V1, V1. So they are both.
With me, I dragged and it showed V2, like it's on V2.
Okay, that's because it's up. See, if I drag this up now.
Okay.
Are you seeing it? If I drag this up now, it's now V2. So that is now in track 2. You understand?
It's not working for me.
How did you drag? You just click on the footage and drag it up. Just click, hold, and drag it up. Drag it up like this. Drag it up again. You have to go to the next track. The more you drag up.
No, I'm trying to add it in the same track.
Then drag it down.
These are 2 different videos now. Why this thing they why me?
No, 2 different videos can be on one track.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Just drag it. If it's on another track, drag it downwards. Have you been able to do it?
No. I dragged it. If I allow it to be on track 2, it will be there. But if I put it on track 1, they agree with you.
Did you lock the track by any means?
Did I lock my track by any means? No. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Let me see something. Oh, I locked my track. Yeah. That time that I was checking the tracking.
Yeah, so you locked the track.
Oh, yes. They are both on video 1 now. So now I can delete video 2.
Yeah, just delete empty tracks.
Delete empty track there. And then that deletes. So now I now have V1, V1.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen it.
So the V1, V1 will show you when you have like 2 different videos, right, on the same track. It is the same thing with the audio. So you know which one is which. So let's go to talking about some of those tools that you're going to see. You will notice.
Is there any benefit of keeping it in the same track or putting it in a different track aside from when you want
for organization purposes? For organization purposes, right? There are some tracks that are similar to each other, right? Let's say you want to do transition. If the track is not, if it's not on the same track, you might not be able to do the kind of transition you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you just stack them on the same track like this.
Yeah.
All right. Some other times you want to stack it. You understand? To be able to do some kind of transition into the next clip, especially if you want to do like a L cut and all of those types of cuts. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to take it up, to stack it properly. All right. So here we have our lock to lock a track. Either you lock the video or you lock the audio. Then here,
So what it means, if I want to do, I've forgotten the name of that transition where the voice comes in first.
that's
If
the
I
L
want to
cut.
do, if I want to do that where the voice comes in first, all I need to do is unlink the audio and the video,
Yes. Then you
place
trim
the
it.
audio in, place the audio to come in before, like place the audio to come in at the end of the previous clip or the
Yeah.
previous footage, and then the video to trim the video. I don't know how
Let's
to
do
explain
it.
this for you.
Let's do it. Let's practicalize that L cut and J cut.
think I,
So
I think I,
L cut, J cut are between two clips, right? Let's
yes.
reduce. Let's reduce this. Then let's drag in this other clip. I think it's the same clip. Let me bring this other clip here. Right. So we have this clip here. We want to now do an L cut. Just as the name implies, an L cut will take an L shape. So that means
They can be on the same.
no, this what it means is that I'm going to trim this like this. It has taken an L
Okay.
shape.
Okay.
So if I bring this now, right, I'll now
Only.
something like this. Something like this. Let's bring this again. So something like this now is our L cut. Why? Because the audio from this one is still moving.
We spill over.
It's,
We spill over
yeah,
to the
into
next
the
one.
next shot.
But when it spill over to the next one,
Yeah.
how do we balance up the audio of, because what we have moved is the
Now,
is the
very good question.
video.
Very good question. Now, the thing is how you want your story to play out on screen. So the ways to do this very well is to drag your footage. You see how it has split. Okay.
Yeah.
So if it splits that way, you can now. I think we've done. Let's increase our timeline so we can see what we're doing very well. Yes. So we can decide to do this now and now drag only our audio over. So we know now that our next clip, the audio should not start here. You get
Okay.
all we are bringing
We have
in is
limit
more of, are you saying it? More of the video. Then this is the place where we target. So this is the side where we target, where we are targeting the audio to start from, while the audio from this one spills over. So this is our L cut. Multiple things. You see, and 5 effectively, right? You might have the capacity. So now the J cut is the reverse of the L cut. Okay, so for the J cut, how to achieve it? We trim the audio of this and we increase the audio of this. You understand? And we bring everything to meet like this. We have a J cut.
How did you group that? You just selected the both of them,
Yeah,
and then moved.
and just moved. Yeah, selected both of them and just moved it. So this is our J cut. So all these types of cuts depends on how you want to tell your story. That's when you use them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and now you see that we don't have any feature called J cut. There's no button to click to say, oh, you click this button to get a J cut. It's a technique. It's an editing technique. So this is a theoretical technique that we now have like a practical for. That's why that ebook I gave is very, very important, right? I talked about all the types of cuts that you'll be able to use to execute on a project. I think we'll be able to wrap this section off fast. We're actually in a good spot. So now we are coming up this way. So forget about quick export. We're not using quick export yet. Okay, we're not using quick. Oh, I forgot about the solo and the mute. It's just what the name implies. You can solo a particular track. Now when you click on solo, it means that this is the only track that will be played, the only audio that we play, right? So if you mute the track, it means that this track has muted. If we have other audios here like this, the other ones we play. Yes. Shall I repeat myself again?
How does that work?
How does that work? Well, it works per track.
I'm thinking about how the solo would work.
Okay.
Like in what case scenario?
Let's the solo now is when you are trying to, when you're editing, when you're trying to like get the playback. So let's say we solo this one, right? Solo this one, and let's remove the mute. Click on solo.
Half truths are as dangerous.
So now you're not hearing double sound. It's only one clip that is playing.
Okay.
You understand? Yes. So it's only one clip that is playing. So if I say, okay, I want to solo this one instead,
What if I told you that
it will be the other clip that we play. I'm not going to hear the other.
So in a case where maybe we want to talk, and then at one point of when we are speaking, like maybe a background sound will start to play. Let's say someone is telling a story, and then at one point he wants to introduce where there will not be one sorrowful song playing in the background. In a case like this, we can duplicate the clip, solo one to when he's talking, and then at one point.
No, that's not how it's going to work. Right? These features are when you are editing. It's not going to translate to when you are exporting. So if you want to do something like that, you have to edit the audios.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to edit the audios that way. These are just features to help you, like for live feedback, like live review of what you're editing. It doesn't translate to like directly the project you're working on. But if you leave this thing on and you go and export, you're not going to have audio at all on that entire track.
Okay.
Yeah, so you make sure you don't mute any track when you're exporting. Every track should be unmuted. So that's all for this part. We're not going to go into this part. Now, when you click on this part, we have the video side, we have the audio side, we have effects, we have transitions, we have image, we have file. Now, file gives you an information about what you have selected. Okay, gives you like the time code, tells you the date created, tells you how long, those little metadata, what frame the video was shot at, the resolution, the audio format, the codec, the video codec, and all of that information. So that's what it gives you here at file. Okay, so the next thing is image. Now, image will not work because this is a video, but if we have an image, a PNG or a JPEG, it's going to reflect here, right?
Okay.
Then
you can edit images on this thing.
You can use images for your video workflow. So yes.
Okay.
Then we have transitions. Transitions only appear when we have a transition effect. For instance, let's say we drag in a transition effect like additive blur to our footage. Why is it not adding? What's wrong? What's going on? Okay, it has added. I zoomed out too much. So this is our effect. Okay. Can you please give me like 5 minutes?
Sure.
Yep. Back, I'm back. Now, you see that we now have transition at this part.
How did you have transition?
Okay, let me repeat that again. So I was trying to show you what all these features here they do, right? So I've showed you what the files, what it is, what it does.
Yeah.
Okay. So the image is only going to have like an image. So let me quickly drag in an image. So we have like something that we're working with. So I've dragged in an image. Okay, once I click on it, why is it not popping up? Why is it not popping up? Oh, it's popping up as a video. It's popping up as a video file. Don't I have the right? Don't I have the right? Isn't there? Let's just look at some of these things. I'll figure out why this image is not popping up.
Okay.
I'll figure out why the image is not popping up later. Okay, now so
Yeah, but you were able to do transition the last time.
yes, so for the transition now, the transition will, this image is grayed out, transition is grayed out, effect is grayed out. The reason why it is grayed out is because we've not put in those things. So for transition now, I can just bring in any transition from the effect tab, video transition, right? Video transition from the effect tab, and I drag, let's do all these generic transitions box. So when you drag it, you can either place the transition at the edge, like at the edge of a clip,
Okay.
or in between two clips. All right, so let me show you. If you come here, you see we're going to see alignment. So when we click on alignment here, now you see that the transition tab has showed. Okay. Now there's something called keyframes. We talked about keyframe.
Yeah.
Now, how does that work? Do you see these little points, these diamond buttons here?
Yes.
So those are keyframes. Okay, those are keyframes. Now we use this to animate stuffs. So what do I mean by animate stuffs? When I click on this keyframe, it means that I have put in a key on that frame. So if I move few frames and I change something, all right, on that file, it's now going to do another keyframe. It's going to create two different keyframes to show us that, okay, let me just give you an example, a keyframe when it comes to zooming. Let's go to video. So I think here you understand it better. So let's go to the video section. In video section, you're going to see transform, right? Transforming means we are zooming in, we are zooming out, we are moving to the left, moving to the right, changing the rotation, changing the anchor point, the pitch, the yaw, the flip, right? Basically, that's all what transform is. You are going to see those diamond shapes here, right? You're not going to see, this button is to like undo what you did. You're going to see it almost everywhere. All right, so to undo. Now, we have the X and the Y. So to zoom in, if this thing is clicked, is linked, right? Make sure when you're zooming in, it's always linked. So that when you zoom in, it's going to zoom in totally. Zoom out our footage. So zoom in, the X and the Y axis are locked. So you click and drag it on your mouse. You just need to click on it and drag. Click.
So for it to be linked, it has to be, you press that.
I think default it is linked already. Default.
Okay.
Yeah, it is linked. So what happens?
How are you zooming in and out now?
You click when you go towards where the figures are, those numbers, the 1.00 is, right? You just hover with your mouse.
Yeah.
Your mouse icon is going to change.
Okay, I can see it.
Yeah, then you click
Moving in and out.
and you drag it. It's zooming in and out. When the number increases,
One
it
thing
zooms
I've
in.
noticed is by default my image does not suit in properly with the
Okay, that's because
with the
you
frame.
you have a 9:16 footage on a 16:9.
Even when I move it to a vertical, it does not suit the. But I think maybe when we are done, I'm going to show you
Okay.
how that is. I think it's going to be a minor issue, but I might have done one thing or the other wrong.
Okay, no problem. We'll troubleshoot that. That's not a challenge. Okay. So the next thing is position, X and Y. If we move this, we are moving on the X and the Y axis, right, left, right, left, right. Okay, let's undo that. If we do the y-axis,
That just solves the question I just asked.
okay. That means
So it just solves.
you moved it when we did this stuff, the transform. When we click on the transform, you might have moved it and you just forgot.
Didn't know.
Yeah. So no challenge. Okay, then this goes for the x. For the y-axis, it goes up and down. So when it's minus, it goes down. When it's positive, it goes up. These things may appear to be basic, but you're going to use them a lot. Then I talked about keyframe, right? So how does it work?
Yeah.
So let's say when I talk about something now you're going to use this a lot in your style of edit, and you want to like lay emphasis on a point that you made. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to zoom in to create to like, so because what you're saying has visual weight, right? So we're going to come here, right? We'll drag our playhead to this point. We click here, we enable a keyframe. You see it's now red, it's active. So when we've said what we want to say, move to this point, stop here. Let me see if I'm doing it on the right footage. Yes, I am. I'm doing it on the right footage. So I move to this point. Let me delete this other one. I move to this point. I can now say when I get to this point, I want it to zoom in like this. Right? We have created an animation. So when we go back and we play,
code was never created.
Yeah.
So we've created an.
But did it? But it didn't give us like a marker to know that.
This to see the marker now. This is where you now enable your keyframes. When you click on it, you now see the markers here. Are you seeing it?
Where did we enable the keyframe?
The keyframe is on the left side.
Okay, the same way we enabled keyframe the first time.
Yes. So you now show. This is where you now use show keyframe tray. You now see everything that you're doing. You can now adjust it.
I hope I'm not time. No. Where did we see show keyframe?
You see timeline.
Is it
after
the same
timeline?
I've seen show keyframe tree. Yes. Okay. So if we show keyframe tree, when we do that animation, that zoom animation, we can be able to see where we are actually zooming in on the track. Yep. Okay. Yep.
So let's proceed. You can still see my screen, I presume.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. So now there are so many things you can do on this keyframe side. We are not going to go into it. But for now, just know that you can adjust the duration of your keyframe to make it happen quickly. If you drag it closer, it will happen quickly. If you drag it apart, it will take effect very, very slow. But we'll go into it later on, right? So to play your clip, to like preview your clip, just press space. Right. To pause it, do the same thing. Pause, play, pause, play. You understand? So that's what basically the keyframe is. But let me just proceed in still showing you what other things do, what other features are at this part. So we now have the rotation angle. If we click on this, it will rotate our footage. You understand? To rotate it, so you can use this to create effects.
So everything that happens here, we can attach a keyframe to it,
yes, and you create our own animation, create our own transition, create our own stuff.
Okay.
And so I'm going to remove the zoom. Then we have anchor point. What is anchor point? Now, in your footage has like 4 points, right? Since it is 16:9, it's a rectangular or a square stuff. It has 4 points, right? So we can move our anchor points to one part of those points, maybe somewhere in the footage. Now, when you do that, you can move your anchor point using the X or the Y axis. So let's say we move our anchor point to this point, right? You may not see anything happening, but the moment you try to do an effect, you see with the way it's zooming to the left. So that shows you that's where the anchor point is now. We have our anchor point now, right? So we can now say let's change our anchor point to, instead of, let's bring it back to 0. Let's say let's move it down to the Y axis, and I do the same thing. You see how it's moving. So it changes where the effect is going to take place, right?
Okay.
So it's just to know your X axis. Your X axis has 2 points, right? It has the left and the right. The Y axis has 2 points. It has the horizontal and the vertical. I hope what I just said makes sense. No.
It does.
Up and down. Most just say up and down. Let me not go and say rubbish. All right. So that's for the anchor point. Let's bring it back to 0. The pitch. So the pitch is a way to like try to mimic a 3D space. So we'll take it to the right. It bends our footage this way. Right.
Okay.
When we take it to the left, it bends it this way. So you can use this to create some funny effects too. And everything is, you can keyframe everything. The yaw now is not the left and the right side. So bend it this way or bend it this way.
Nollywood use these things
They use
well.
entire. All right. So that's what the yaw does. Then for the flip, when you click here, you can flip it. You can mirror the image left to right. That's what the flip does, left to right. Or you can do upside down. So flip it upside down. So that's what the flip does. Now, we have the AI Smart Reframe. This AI Smart Reframe is only for people who are trying to convert a 16:9 footage to a 9:16 footage. What do I mean? Let's say you have a YouTube video, right? You now want to repurpose that video to a short. You can now use this AI Smart Reframe to bring the footage into a 9:16 timeline. We're not going to go into this yet, right? I'm going to show you how to do that later on, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work well on a 16:9 frame. We are actually on a 16:9 frame. It will work better when we take a 16:9 footage into a 9:16 timeline. So we can now use the frame. We can mark the point. We can now say, okay, you see this point. Anytime the video is moving, focus on this guy. It's now going to track that particular guy and keep him in frame. You must have seen something like this before when they try to repurpose content. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what the AI Smart Reframe does. Then we have cropping. Just as the name implies, we can crop to the left, cut a footage, right? That Creed edit, this is what they use. They use this cropping effect pieces. So you can keyframe it, right, on how, I think even my recent project, I used it at the end side. Even, when the video is playing, you're going to see where it's like the screen is cropping in, right? So that's how I was able to achieve it. So you can crop to the left, crop to the right, crop to the top, crop the bottom
But with
part.
this, can you use it as a transition where it shows the next image?
Yes, you can. Definitely, yes, you can. Yes, you just have to put the image beneath it, right? Put the image beneath this one, do the cropping, and you can use it as a way to review your next image. Okay, so we have softness. What does the softness do? The softness now, instead of these hash lines, right, when you increase the softness, it's now going to blur out, it's going to fade out the edges. Okay, that's what the softness is. It's going to fade it out. All right.
Did you say softness?
Yes, softness. Yeah, after crop bottom, the next feature you're going to see is softness.
Softness, yeah.
So that's what that thing does. Then you're going to see what
this effect if you are dreaming.
Yes, all those dream sequence.
Or if snake is chasing somebody.
All right, so stuffs like that. Now let's say you want to do zooming, some kind of zoom effect. DaVinci Resolve has you don't need to do keyframes. You can just come here and click on dynamic zoom. When you click on dynamic zoom, it's going to add the zoom for you, but I don't like it. Most of the cases, it's not really good. So you see, the zoom is slow. So it zooms per the extent of the cut. So you have to cut, like I have to look for, okay, I want to zoom from here to this point. Then I cut it, Control B. Then I'll now go and add my dynamic zoom. So the effect is going to take place in the entire point where I cut it. So instead of me trying to go and do the zoom manually, I can just cut. Then you might say, oh, but that's a zoom out. What if I want to zoom in? All you just need to do is come to this clip and click on swap. To now swap it from a zooming out to what? A zooming in. And you are good to go. You can change it from, now the dynamic zoom has ease. There's something called ease. Ease is a way to smoothen your keyframes, your effect, because your zoom is going to create keyframes from point A to point B. So that effect you want to smoothen it. That's what we call the ease. So you can use ease in. Ease in means that it's going to be smooth, then a little bit fast, right? Or ease out. It's going to be fast. Then when it gets to that part, it's going to slow down a little bit to smooth. It's going to create a curve, right? Or you do ease in and ease out. So it's going to start in smooth, follow a curve, then smooth out. Now we are going to do this more when we go into keyframing, right? We're going to look at how this easing in, ease out, linear, how these things actually work when we are looking at keyframe proper. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right. So the next thing is composite. Composite is where you use blend modes. Okay, you use add, you use color. Now, if you do all these things, you may not see the effect until you stack up images. You stack up clips together. So let's drag this one and put over here and bring our playhead to this point. So if we come to this part, we come to composite, change it from normal to add, see what happens. It's blending the two clips together. Okay, you can use this to create some effect. Use it to also create transitions because it has keyframes. So you can do add, you can do color. So it has like some is black and white, some other colors are showing. It has color bond, like different types of blend modes. Now there are some blend modes that darkens the subject. There are some that lightens the subject. All right. Now for people who are lazy, who want to create multiple clones, now provided that your shot is static, you're not changing your camera positions, but you're in different places in your shot and you are feeling lazy, you can't cut out, you can use blend mode and use darken. The only challenge is that it's going to darken your footage will be a little bit darker, but you can still color correct it, make it brighter. So it will now like unite the image into one. I don't know if what I just said makes sense.
So if you use this darken,
yeah,
you can use it to merge clips where you are trying to portray multiple images of one person.
yes. So we'll look at examples, right? We'll look at examples. Let me see. When we go deep, this is just like the basic introduction. So let's not go into the editing proper yet. Okay, so you can just experiment. Okay? Most of all these things are you have to experiment what it does. You get, then maybe you like it, then you move ahead, right? So that's for the composite. Now we have opacity. Opacity is the transparency. You can also use this to create transitions. You understand? Between two different clips, you just keyframe it and you move there. My previous video, there are some things you see like I was disappearing and appearing, like glitching. It was the opacity I used to create that particular effect. You just slide it, keyframe it, slide it on, keyframe it, take it back, keyframe it, and when you play it, it will be like you're glitching in and you're glitching out. So that's what it does. Then the speed change. The speed change is used to slow down a footage or make it fast. Okay, when you drag it, it's going to slow motion this. Now it's fast. So when you drag it to the left, slow it down, right? But there are other ways to actually slow down footage, right? We'll also look at that. So that's what the speed change does. It works for audio, it works for images, it works for videos. Okay. So this one is like to reverse the direction of the effect. Okay. Then this freeze is to freeze it. So that freeze now, let's say you just want a point to pause it. So you see, like, I've paused it. You understand? So that's what the freeze function is. Now this freeze function, you can now decide to drag it. Say, I want it to last for this long. You understand? So it will last for this long before it will now get to the point where it will continue.
So on this freeze here, you can, in a case where this is applicable, I think like something like where maybe you are trying to stitch a video to the one you're making and you want to freeze yourself while that one plays.
Exactly.
You can use the freeze and then put it there, then separate the audio while that one plays.
Exactly.
Maybe you can be saying something in the background,
Yeah.
the audio can be talking, but your image itself will freeze while the
one is
other
talking.
thing you're trying to get plays. Then when that one finishes playing, then you can remove that. You can have an end keyframe where you now continue talking from there.
Exactly, 100%, 100%. So all these things is, you know what they do, right? Then you can also, okay, I'm going to use this stuff for the creative idea that I have. You understand? That's why we go over some of these tools. So the next is stabilization. Some of all these things is when we want to like do a key effect. We'll now go into it, like ripple timeline. What does it mean to ripple the timeline? What is pitch correction? You know, when you make a video fast, the pitch will increase, right? So maybe you want to do pitch correction. The video is fast, but you want to still maintain your voice, instead of it to become a chipmunk sound.
Yeah.
That's what the pitch correction is there for. The ripple timeline is, let's say for instance, I am creating an effect here for it to slow down or increase. When I do it, it is now going to affect the timeline. You understand? It's now going to affect the timeline, which is good to have when you're doing this kind of effect. Are you seeing what is happening to the footage? As I slow it down, the footage is becoming longer. So if you're doing that kind of effect, you want it to ripple on the time. You want to see the effect translate on the timeline. That's where you have that there. Okay, let's get rid of this. So stabilization, let's say you have a shaky footage. All right, you have a shaky footage, you use the stabilization to stabilize it, but it has like a levels of complexities. So when we'll go into it later on, because there are some settings that you have to do. There is perspective stabilization, there's similarity, there's translation. You need to know what it means. Perspective is like, okay, a particular direction. Similarity is maybe there's movement, but everything is just in a particular, space, same space. Translation is when there is a lot of motion, when there is a lot of movement. You're moving from one side to another, right? Then you're going to use this translation to stabilize. Now, it's not 100% perfect, all right, but it does a very good job, especially if you're shooting with your hand and the image is shaky. You can use this. Now, the downside is that you have to zoom in when you're trying to stabilize the footage. It will zoom in into the footage, but you can now decide to control the zoom. All right, how much zoom? The more you smoothen it, the more zoom. All right, so this is just the crop ratio. How far do you want it to zoom in? This is the smoothness. How much do you want the effect, the stabilization? You want it to look a little bit real, so don't increase it too much, right? The strength, to leave it at 1. I like leaving my strength at 1. 1 is a good number. So if you want to stabilize, you have to play with these things. I already explained what similarity is, perspective is. If it's locked like this, maybe they are small. Some micro jitters, like little shakes, you can use perspective. Perspective works really good. Then translation, when there is movement, like you're moving, you can use translation. So you will toggle between perspective and translation a lot. So sometimes you just have to experiment with this to see which one works really well for your footage. So the next thing is lens correction. Lens correction, you may not use it. All right. Lens correction is when like there is you took your shot, but there's an aberration where this thing doesn't really work well, so you cannot analyze your footage. When you analyze the entire footage, you cannot try to manually adjust it. I see what's happening to me now. So all this, when maybe your lens, you didn't use the correct focal length, you can just try to come and adjust it a little bit, right? But if you don't do it correctly, you will just spoil your footage, right? So that's what the lens correction does. Then we have retime and scaling. Retime and scaling, you can only apply this when you apply retime on your footage. What is retime? Retime is if you make your footage slower or you make it faster. Now this tool is in a way. Now remember, we talked about that if you're trying to shoot slow motion, what do? You have to increase your frame rate, right? So let's say, for instance, you now want to slow down a footage and you did not shoot in the proper frame rate, like 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, and you want to get that very smooth effect. So DaVinci Resolve has this feature for us to create an optical flow, right? That's what we use. We use optical flow that now makes our image very, very smooth. This one, you may not use it, you may use it. So we have AI Superscale. AI Superscale is to enhance your image, to reduce noise, sharpen it, enhance it. Okay, now these things, they are graphically intensive. They will drag your PC. All right. Yes, they will drag your PC. So don't overdo it. Right, I'm going to show you techniques. If I'm adding stuff like this, I'm going to show you techniques, what I do to get away, because there are some things you will do, you'll not be able to play your footage. When you're playing it, it will be breaking, to be choppy, to be lagging, right? So all those experience will ruin your editing time, right? So I'm going to show you stuff I do to like have a very good smooth experience. Then the next thing is audio. So the audio part, you can increase the volume of our audio, we can reduce it. Right now, increasing the volume of our audio is not always good. All right, it's not always good. Remember when we talked about sound design, editing audios, you have to bring down especially when it comes to dialogue. It doesn't need to be punchy. You understand? You need people, because some persons are going to use their headphones and some are going to increase it. So you want it to to sound very good, right? So sometimes even when I bring my audio in, I go ahead and reduce it a little bit. I drop down the audio spectrum a little bit. It's only when I'm trying to create like SFS sound effect and the effect is so low, I can now come and increase the volume a little bit here. Now, some other thing that you can do is you can right click and you come to normalize audio level. It's now going to ask you which method you want to use. You want to use Netflix, you want to use YouTube, you want to use, like some default settings. You can now say, I want YouTube. Now, when you click on it, when you click on normalize, normalizing means it's going to reduce. Are you seeing it? So if our volume is sorry, sir.
You right click where?
Right click on your footage. You're going to see all these options. Now we are going to look at all these options later on. Okay, we're going to look at our next class. We'll look at all these options. We're going to look at compound clip. We are not going to look at fusion clip. We're not going to use. We are not going to look at VFX connect clip. We don't need it. We'll look at render in place, look at copy, attributes, cut, repo cut, delete selected. Some of all these things, it's just as the name implies, that's what they do. You understand? Right. So, but we'll look at this other part. For now, let's continue with the audio. So, the next thing is pan. What is pan? Pan is you move some sound either to the left channel or the right channel. Right. People who are good with mixing audios, there are some effects they will move to the left channel. Some other things they will move to the right channel. You understand? So that's what the panning does. Then we have AI voice isolation. Now this part is very, very good to remove audio, to remove sound from a music. You want to remove the person who is singing, you want to remove the voice. All right, so this is where we do it. You just use the audio voice isolation, remove the person's voice, it will retain the music. All right, especially for copyright issues. Okay, so you'll be able to use this. We have AI dialogue leveler. This AI dialogue leveler helps you to balance your audio. Let's say you don't know how to mix and master. Maybe there are some parts where your voice is low. You can just come and say, okay, lift soft whispery sources, right? Click on that. We say allow wider dynamics. You click on it. Say optimize moderate levels. It's going to optimize everything for you. All right, this one is AI stuff so that you don't waste your time trying to blend this audio with this audio and that audio and all of that. So you can just use this as much as you want. Then you can work on the output. You can say reduce loud dialogue, lift soft dialogue, background reduction. So a level of noise reduction, all those things that we're trying to do in Audacity, remember. So we just have them on the AI dialogue side here. Okay, so we now have AI music remixer. It has a whole lot of AI features. Let's say I want to avoid some copyright issues. I want to use a song that I like so much, but I don't want to get copyright strike. Can I say, okay, let me come to the AI music remixer. I'll reduce the voice. I will reduce the drums. I will increase the bass. I will just tweak it. It will now become like another song entirely, right? But it is still sounding similar to that to the song. Yeah, so I'll avoid copyright strikes with this to a level. So you can decide to mute voice, mute the drums, mute the bass, mute others, and mute the guitar, right? Then you can change the pitch or the key of any song, right? You can increase it to baritone. Maybe you want to add some level of depth to your voice. When you take it this way, you are increasing bass, the depth in your voice. When you take it here, increasing the pitch of your voice. Sense, I've forgotten what sense does expressly, right? But it's still the same thing with trying to like fine tune your voice. All right, so for the audio side, we have speed change. Also have speed change. Then we have equalizer. Now we're not going to go into equalizer until when we now talk about the audio side for how to put your bands, your frequencies to get rid of some muddy effect, to make it rich and all of that. All I'm just going to show you is I'm going to show you how I use mine. All right, so you will do the same thing. Then probably later on you can now expand your horizon of, okay, this is what this does, this is what that does. Is that okay?
Okay.
Now, if we bring in effects, we're not going to go into effects yet, right? But when you bring in any effect to your footage, you are going to see the effect channel is going to pop up. So let's go to effect and let's drag binoculars effect in here. So when you come here, you now see effect has opened up. So this is the binoculars effect. You can now begin to control it, the distance, the aberration strength, play with it. There's no right or wrong way to do some of all these things. Some of all these things is just to know what the thing is, then begin to play with the sliders, you understand, to get the kind of effect you want to, you understand, the kind of
you want to have.
Yeah. So that's what so the effect panel, you're just going to see all these things here. Then you see open effect, you're going to see audio. If it's an audio effect you drop in, it's going to pop up here on the audio side. You understand? So that's basically, now remember we also have transition, so you're going to see the transition effect where you can be able to change all the types of transitions we have installed in DaVinci Resolve. All of them will pop up here, right? Most of them will pop up here, not all of them. Most of them will pop up here. That is the default ones. So you can set the duration. How long do you want the transition to take place? How many frames do you want the transition to be? Where do you want the alignment, either to the left, to the right, or to the middle in between clips? We'll go into details into some of all these things. Any questions so far?
None so far.
Awesome.
None so far.
Awesome. So what we've been able to do is we've been able to cover a little bit of the basics. Now what this thing does is to reduce like your volume, maybe your audio, your playback. This thing here is to reduce the playback. To dim it is just to reduce it slightly, right? To dim the audio a little bit so that it doesn't, like, the sound is not too much, right? So that's what it does. So we've been able to cover some things. We'll look at some of all these things like the mixer, the metadata. So metadata is just like, okay, all the data for your shots. It shows you the bit rate, 8-bit, the data level for the audio is auto, shows you the timestamp, shows you some other stuffs for your metadata for the clip, right? Mixer is I don't know why the mixer is not popping up. But anyways, we move regardless. Like I said, there are some tools you may not use. So the mixer, I think maybe you need. Okay, it's popping up here. Just give me a second. Yes. So this mixer now, we use this more for on the Fairlight page. We use it more for the Fairlight page. But in case you like, remember I said that majority of the things that you want to do, you can do it here on the edit page. You understand? So bringing this mixer in now, we can now decide to add, let's say our A1. We can say, okay, for our A1, let's increase the volume a little bit. We take it up or we take it down. You understand? So, but when you go into the Fairlight page, you have much more features to be able to do here with your mixer. We are also going to take a look on that. So that's what the mixer is. The quick export is, let's say you just want to export this part of the clip. You can just click on it, select it. This is not where I export from. Okay, don't export from here at all. Right? Because you export here and you will cry. Your video, the color will not come out well. Right? So that's not what we used to export. So in the absence of any question, we'll be having another class by Friday. This is Wednesday. We're having another class by Friday. Immediately this one ends, I'm going to send I'm going to start compressing so I can send you the footage so you can go back, look at it, and view alongside. Then another thing I'm going to do is I am going to create a private channel for my YouTube. Right? Let's say, for instance, you may not want to, like, let's say instances where, let's say you are out and you just want to refresh your mind. So I'm creating a private channel for only those who have subscribed on my YouTube, where they can go and look at some of the sections I've had, not just with you, some of my other students too. Right? You can see some of the videos there on the private section. So only for subscribers only. All right, so that brings us to the end for today. Any questions at all?
No question.
Awesome.
Question. So I think I've had most of my question answered,
All right.
where we talked about moving the footage. However,
I'm going to show you how to set your playback. You know, we've not talked about playback, right? We've not looked at this part.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you how to, like, really get the most out of your PC when you're editing, because the video you might be working with might be a 4K video. Another thing, it might slow your machine down. So I'm going to show you how to set up proxies, how to set up your playback timeline to get like a smoother experience when you're playing back. We are going to go into all those stuffs. So yeah.
Okay.
Hope that answers the question.
All right. Yes, that does.
Okay.
That does.
So
that does.
we're going to see.
When your laptop or your system.
We're going to see. This has brought us to the end, and honestly, we are actually in a very good spot. We're actually in a very good spot. By the time we're done with some of all these things, we'll not start taking some sample projects that we can work on, right? Start editing sample project before we not go into color grading, the color page and all of that. Let's just master the edit page. Let's do a couple of stuffs on the edit page before we move next to another page. So thank you for your time. See you.
Thank you,
on
sir.
Friday.
See you on Friday.